going on, YouTube? Today we are taking the vet. Got to get a few things done. It's a beautiful day outside, so I figured it'd be a good day to take the vet out and put some miles on her. But I wanted to talk about dealerships. I thought this would be a good opportunity to explain some of the situations I've had over the years, and can you trust dealerships? That's a pretty big one. A lot of people, they just take their car to dealerships. If your car's under warranty, this is probably not the best video for you. But if it isn't, are dealerships the best? There's local mechanics. A lot of people get a little leery of local mechanics, but they sometimes can be a good option, because even though everybody wants to look into just taking it to their big local mechanic, whether it's your Chevrolet dealership, your Ford dealership, whatever it may be, it's not always your best option. And case in point, this vet was a huge eye-opener. When I purchased it, obviously not too long ago, I noticed there was a low-pitched grinding rattle at very low speeds. I mean, we're talking under 15 miles an hour, especially when I was turning. I was hearing it during driving through a parking lot. And the final straw was I actually went to go shopping, and I was driving through a parking lot, and I could just hear something in the middle to the back end of my car grinding at a low speed, and it concerned me. And so I decided that I would take it in and have it checked out, because I just didn't know enough about it. But I did my research, and guys, let me tell you, forums are huge. If you're into the sports car scene, most likely you already know this, but sports cars come with a lot of territory on forums. People love to talk, and they are a good help. They're not, you don't only want to use them, but I learned a lot before I went in. I didn't know what the issue was, but I had an idea, and it was the differential. Now, a differential in a Corvette, the C6, if it was failing, could be $5,000 if I was to have it fully replaced. I mean, we're talking big bucks. So a failing differential is a pretty big problem. And so I was a little concerned about that. I didn't know what to think, but I was pretty sure, going through the forums, that it wasn't an actual issue as far as it was the fluid. Now, I told you guys this car only had 12,000 miles. Well, the guy told me last year he put about 100 miles in 1 year. Well, the fluid in the differential, as it sits, can become less lubricated. It won't go through the differential. It won't work to the differential's benefit. It won't do its job, essentially. And that's pretty important. And so you actually kind of got to drive it well. If you let it get too, if you let it go too long, and usually differential fluid, you don't have to change all that often, really almost in some cars, if ever. But with the cars being 10 years old, I was pretty sure it never had a fluid change for the differential. And I found through the forums that the original fluid put in here, there was a service recall on it. They changed it, and I was betting that the guy that I bought it from never knew about that, and never changed it from the original fluid over to the newer fluid. So what I'm trying to get at is I took it in to the Chevrolet dealership knowing this information, but I'm not a mechanic, so I was going to leave it up to them. And essentially what they told me was they were going to have to talk with, they had a head transmission guy, but that the initial tech that saw it was saying that my differential was failing. And I remember I was speaking with him, and I said, this is incredible for a differential to fail at such low mileage. And he said, oh, well, it's probably been tracked really hard. It's been driven really hard, and I wasn't having much of it. And at this point, I had done a little bit more research after they had told me this, and I was pretty convinced that it was this fluid. And so I wasn't sure what to do. So I made some calls to local mechanics, and they all told me the same thing. They told me that no, my differential is not failing. They said that is extremely rare, and that it would be a differential fluid flush would fix it, and that there's new additives that they put in it to help out, you know, with. So there's a clutch plate in the back of my differential, and I don't want to get too far into this, but I guess with the old fluid, let's do this here. Yeah, that doesn't get too old. But with the old clutch fluid, the plates were not, they were skipping. The fluid was not gripping it correctly, so they would pop, pop, pop. And so it was a terrible grinding noise. I mean, if anybody heard it, they'd be very concerned. And I was. This was a brand new car that I just purchased, and I was worried. But the forum, they helped me at least ease a little bit of my worries, and so I showed up the next day to bring the car, where the tech that needed to look at it, that was the transmission specialist, was not there that day. So I dropped it off the next day. I brought it up, I guess. And he had it for about an hour, and he came out and he told me what pretty much I already knew. He said, no, your differential's not failing. The tech that was looking at it originally did not know what he was talking about. And so that helped a lot. At least I knew that their specialist knew what was going on, because if he would have told me it was failing, I wasn't going to have them do the work. Guys, you need to get multiple opinions if there is a major work to be done on your vehicle. Always get several opinions. It doesn't hurt. There's no reason not to. And so I highly recommend that, because if they would have told me that, if I was just some average person, just said, all right, replace the differential, I guess I'm out $5,000, which is just crazy. I can't even fathom spending that much. There was nothing wrong with it. He, sure enough, he changed my fluid, and that's another video we'll talk about, costs of dealerships versus doing it on your own, because I could have done this on my own, but I was at the dealership. I just wanted to have it done. I was a little worried. I was like, okay, let's just make sure this is 100% it. And so I had them change the differential fluid, and then you have to go and do figure eights to burn in the fluid into the differential. And guess what? No sounds. It is completely gone. It completely eliminated. You know, they charged me $250, which is crazy. I mean, I cringe at thinking that I paid that much for a differential fluid change. I'm sure if anybody is into cars, they would probably, you know, Taylor, you're an idiot. You know, why would you pay that much? But it was already there. I wanted it done. I wanted to make sure. I didn't want to mess with it. I didn't want to take it home and do it at that time. I will in the future, but I didn't want to do it at that time. So it was a major relief that's what ended up being the problem. And so that's my point, though. Always get multiple opinions. It is very important. It's a very important part of owning a car, especially something like this that's this expensive. Just be careful. Be careful with who you trust with your car, and always, guys, don't feel obligated to spend. A lot of people feel that obligation. Oh, you know, you need to do this, this, and this, and they go, oh, I can't walk away, I can't drive the vehicle away and try and get a second. Yeah, you can, unless the vehicle is inoperable. Get multiple opinions. If you feel like, you know, gosh, this is a $700-800 fix, because a dealership will be more expensive than a local mechanic, and they're not always the best option. But thanks, guys, for watching this video. I hope you guys learned a lot from it. I'm still learning a lot from it, and from my experiences. And if you did like this video, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button as well. You know, I know I'm a new channel, but I'm trying to grow and continue adding great content. I got a lot of fun stuff coming up for this vet, and I can't wait to take you guys along with the ride. Have a great day.